Hello, hello, hello. It is 5 o'clock on Thursday. It's still the month of April. That means it's time for IntelleXual University. I'm your host, David Dawson. And joining me today is the cast and crew of the film Tossed Aside, our 2018 entry in the True San Diego FilmCon Challenge from Film Consortium San Diego. If at any time today you would like to ask us a question, please feel free to text it to this number here, 760-456-9469. And now let's bring the cast and crew on. I'm going to put it in the gallery mode. You all can unmute yourselves when you're ready to talk. I think the first person I will introduce is my co-director on this film, Teresa.
Oh, hi.
There she is. Hi, T. How you doing?
Good. You?
Doing good. Doing good. It's casual Thursday for me. I'm just it's quarantine. I haven't gotten around to my laundry. Go figure. Also joining us is our frequent collaborator, long-term collaborator, Brian Davis.
Hello, how's everyone doing?
How you doing, Brian?
Doing good, thanks.
Where do I go next? Joe Castano is here. He's our co-producer on the film. Hi, Joe.
Hey, David. Thanks for inviting me tonight.
Did a lot in helping me break down the interpretation of the short story that we turned into this film.
Oh, I'm sure we'll talk more about that later.
We will, for sure. For sure, we will talk about that. Moving along, two more of our tech crew, the Mikes, Mike Peterson and Michael Shane Bowles. Hi, guys. And Michael Shane doesn't know how to unmute himself. He's a camera guy.
Not as easy as it looks.
I forget who exactly was the DP on this movie.
Mikey was. Nope.
Mikey P.
I thought Brian was.
Brian.
No,
Brian was
me.
DP.
Brian
Yeah.
was DP. That's right.
This is my last basically my last hurrah.
We have a tendency to share duties, and each of us take turns operating as DP. I got a whole group of guys who can do sound and do photography, and like we all take turns. It's like a rotation. So sometimes I get confused on who did what. We are missing our lead actor for this film. Chris Szabo had to work today. I'm glad he's got some employment, but he's not here with us, unfortunately, for the stream. But we do have our lead actress, Heidi Eigenberger. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, look at that. My Brian just put shade on my window here, so I don't have the the light pouring on my face anymore. Thanks, Brian.
It goes along with this film. I did a lot more fun stuff with lighting on this film than we had before. And colors.
Co-star Richard Hawkins is also with us. Hello, Rich.
Good afternoon.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, very well. Trying to stay cool. It's a little bit warm today.
Are you casually doing this from your bed?
I am, yes.
It's cool. Mike did it last week.
This is my new office. You know. So yeah, I just moved house recently, so that's it.
Dave, I don't think it's switching speakers. It's staying on you.
Really? Let me bounce out. Let me see here. No, should be fine.
Cool.
Is it working now? Can you see everybody?
There we go.
I don't know. I put mine in gallery view.
Yeah. So anyway, the live stream has gallery view, so I don't know what was going on with UB. We also have actor Mark Allen with us. How you, Mark?
Hey, good. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here and see everybody and their little, Brady Bunch square here.
Everybody's in their box.
That's right. The Hollywood Square.
I'm stuck in my box. We also have Whitney Wegman Wood with us. Hello, Whitney.
Hold on. Hello. Had to unmute.
And Samantha Larson is with us as well.
Hi.
Hi, Sam. Sam joining us all the way from Los Angeles, where she is relocated to. We miss you. Come back.
I miss you guys too. I love it on the beach though.
So today's episode is about the film Tossed Aside, which we did as part of the FilmCon challenge. For anybody who doesn't know what the FilmCon challenge is, it's from Film Consortium San Diego. It's a 60-day film challenge. In some ways similar to what you do on a 48-hour film project or a 4 points film project, except you have basically 2 months to work on the film, which I really enjoyed the process of having 2 months to work on a movie as opposed to 2 days. How did you guys feel about it? Yeah, I'm seeing thumbs up and stuff.
Loved it. I mean, it's just like we talked
Yeah.
about with the last one with, oh my God, why am I blanking? What did we just review?
Forever My
last
Love.
week? Forever My Love.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You got quarantine brain.
Well, and just doing these each week. It's the pre-production that most, in my personal opinion, a lot of San Diego films fail on. And because it's the 48-hour, the 72-hour mentality that you rush into a film. Not rush, but you know what I mean? Like, you just don't have the time to do a proper pre-production. These two films we were able to do and take our time, and it shows.
I can agree with that. Joe, you've done a lot of 48s and whatnot, and you've now worked with us on a few projects. How different was having the 60 days on this compared to previous projects we've done together and that
Yeah,
you've done
well,
yourself?
Yeah, thanks, Dave. I did, like you said, a lot of 48s and over 20 of them. And
Yeah, he's done more than us, guys. Like,
so it's the thrill and excitement of the rush of the 48 is, I love it. And when it's done, there's a few things
You're just holding really
done after with a whole lot. We have a whole lot more time. We did some scouting of locations. We were able to get a really nice location for the pet shop. We were able to rehearse things, and so it was a whole lot different experience. But I love the rush of the 48-hour type projects.
Joe's all about the rush. Brian
All
and
about the rush.
Teresa.
Get in, get out.
Brian and Teresa have done everything with me
We're done.
from the
No more
start.
this 2 months crap. No.
Brian and Teresa have done everything with me from the start. What is the take from the two of you on the difference in having more time versus doing the short projects?
We get to sleep.
This one gave us a lot more time to massage the story more, because it wasn't our idea. Initially, it was based on a short story that was submitted to the contest that we had to turn into a script. That gave us some time to massage that a bit more, and like Joe said, to scout and to plan and do multiple locations and not be rushed. And then also play around with the post, which wasn't too bad. Yeah, it was cool. Much more laid back.
Yeah, I like the laid back nature of it. I thought it was really great. One of the things that I like about FilmCon, I like and I dislike. It's a love-hate relationship I have with this particular aspect of how Film Consortium chose to do their film competition. Is the films are adaptations of existing short stories. So in the competition, on the kickoff date, we're given 3 short stories that were written by writers at the San Diego writing group, So Say We All. And we were given basically, I think, 2 days to read through them and choose which one of those stories we wanted to adapt and turn into a film. The other side of this too is we have a longer film we can make. So the films, instead of being under 7 minutes, are supposed to be between 5 and 15. So with the added time, you also have the ability to make a longer story. That said, we were given 3 stories to choose from that I felt were incredibly difficult to figure out and grok how to turn them into films. And I remember the team being kind of not exactly excited about the choices we had.
We
No
got all
offense.
animal stories.
Yeah, it's no offense to the people who wrote the stories, but like out of 3 films, 2 of them had animals in them, which if you're familiar with making films, there's what, 3 things you're not supposed to work with, right? Children, animals.
David Dawson. No, no.
That's
I don't know.
British people.
Children, animals, and grouchy DPs. But children and animals are always at the top of the list of the things you should not work with. So 2 of them had animals in them. One of them had animals and a lead actor who was supposed to be a young child. And then the third story that we got was like a abduction tale, but none of it really didn't like resonate with any of us, and nobody seemed all that interested in doing that one. So we ended up going with the one that was called Feeder Rats, written by Eber Lambert. And Joe, can you remember how hard it was for us to figure out how to turn it into a film?
Yeah, we sat around the writer's room, so to speak, for a long time. We went around in circles, and we just kept coming back to, you know, we could do it, but it's going to be ugly and it's not going to be fun. So eventually, I think it was David who first suggested we go with dark comedy. So we were able to add a little bit of humor to it, try to just avoid the harshness of what we had been written for us.
Yeah, as I recall, one of the other things we wanted to not do was do a first person narrative, you know, voiceover from the main character, which a lot of the teams did in fact do in the competition, because all of these stories were true stories based on the writer's experiences in their life. So it was kind of a natural progression to use a voiceover narrative to kind of tell that story on top of the visuals. But I didn't want to do that. Team didn't want to do that. So we were having a real hard time trying to figure out how to condense all of the things that were happening and tell the story. And it so happened Feeder Rats is about a guy who is dating she was like a stage manager for a band. And when she goes off with the band on tour, the guy takes care of her snake. And what suddenly dawned on me was this idea, well, what if we make it not the stage manager? He's dating the lead singer in a band. And I've got like the perfect group of girls to be like a female rock band on our team. And we can turn them into a rock band. And Whitney and I and Brian had recently been to the Jerome Film Festival in Arizona, where we'd made the acquaintance of musician Lindsay Catt, also a filmmaker. Her film, The Avant-Gardener, is like winning awards all over the world. But I realized that there were like 3 of her songs that narratively could kind of slip in and function as these narrative beats that push our characters from one place to the next. And we could do something really cool, really different, and kind of basically shoot 3 music videos with little acting pieces in between. And that's what we ended up doing. And thankfully, Lindsay Catt gave us permission to use her beautiful music. And the girls nailed it on the lip sync and instrument playing. Just
yeah.
Yeah, the performance across the board was fantastic.
Well, people thought they were a real band.
Yeah. Everybody wanted to know when they were going to be playing somewhere. It was amazing.
I cannot tell you how many people messaged me and asked me and were like, is that really you singing? Like, you sound great. Like all these things. I'm like, it's not me, you know, like, sorry, but this is who it is.
That means you're a fantastic actress.
Yeah.
The new
it was so scary to be up there. It was,
and we
like,
nailed that
gotta
location
do it justice,
with that
you know?
bar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that was
okay.
my friend Rob's bar. That was very nice that he let us borrow it.
Yeah.
It is a venue, and they do play music there periodically. So.
And
Yeah, we had to do early morning, didn't we?
Yeah.
I remember being there and I was like, this is so weird. I'm in a bar and it's like 7 a.m. And Whitney was nice enough to be like, do you want a cup of coffee? Do you want to come over? And I walked to your house and I remembered. I was like, I feel very weird drinking coffee in a bar. But it's 6 a.m., 7 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to turn that bar into multiple venues essentially, especially for the montage sequences and stuff.
Yeah, the girls are on the same stage for all three performances, but we changed the backgrounds, we changed the camera angles, and kind of rearranged the audience so it didn't look like the exact same audience each time. And costumes changed. John Aviles was our makeup artist, and he continually adjusted Heidi's makeup on her face, so each song had a different look. It was a lot of fun. But we were trying to get all three of those songs shot in one morning too. So that was also kind of like, it was a lot to ask. We had 5 cameras on that shoot, I think, if I recall.
Something like that.
I just love that shoot. It gave me an excuse to shave my hair into a faux hawk. So that was fun for me.
Well, let's stop talking about it. We are starting to get some questions, and I'll get to your questions after we watch the film, guys. And let's watch the movie together, and we can comment as it goes and reminisce together. You know, that's kind of the fun part of IntelleXual University. So let me pull this up here. I don't want to pull up that movie. Hold on. That one is not the one I want. Talk amongst yourselves while I find the
Is that the adult version?
I wish I made popcorn.
No, it's the one with the little banner at the bottom, you know, to please okay. We'll
should have made this a cocktail hour viewing party.
Well, if you got the drinks,
Pretty much already drinking.
if you got the drinks, go ahead.
Cheers, Mark.
Of course,
There
that
you
was
go.
The video I
Teresa.
saw recently, the guy coming outside. I'll tell it later. Actually, I can tell it very quick. He comes outside. He's like, "Hey, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. Be quiet." And he's picking up his beer.
I don't wanna be your conquest.
Here's Heidi, looking great.
How long have they been together?
Yeah, we played a lot with solid colors, left and right, blues and reds.
Lighting looks awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, especially on her, I wanted to divide her right in the middle.
We brought a lot of lights in for this.
Yeah, I played a lot with
Yeah,
color.
the bar had
all
lights,
across.
but we didn't use any of theirs.
No. Lots of gels.
And I know Lexi's not here, but props to her for playing the drums still with her foot all wrecked from the night before.
Oh yeah. I forgot
That's
she was in a cast or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she broke her foot.
Yeah, in a mosh pit.
Yeah, that was it.
How much more rock can you get?
It's pretty hardcore.
Lexi's
Didn't
hardcore,
she
that's
also
for sure.
join us like last minute too?
I think
Yes.
so.
It was only like the day or two before we were shooting.
And David did that poster behind her.
Dude, what'd I tell you? She's great, right? You say you've been dating that goddess for a few weeks?
I always love these sorts of scenes where people are talking, where there's a band or a nightclub playing in the background, because everybody behind them is being totally silent, and they're talking like they're talking over noise.
Yeah,
the most unnatural thing to do, right, Rich?
absolutely.
And to tell the extras to mime that they're saying something to the person next to them without looking like they're miming.
Yeah, you're like, you're listening to music. How do you get all of them in the same beat?
Whatever you say.
Now, Rich, you were doing an American accent in this film, right?
Was kind of.
I remember it was important to you. You wanted to try doing
I wanted to go.
accent.
I wanted to go for it.
Of course, wouldn't miss it.
The legendary eyebrow.
Why not?
Sam and her eyebrow.
Hey man.
Hey, I realize I've got a date.
Yeah.
I have that eyebrow raise on my acting resume. Can raise one eyebrow.
And that's my usual awkward eye pop out that I do. In my brain, I'm thinking all cool, but yeah.
One of the things I really
love
love
this
about
scene.
this film is how different the various venues look. So all this office stuff we were really going for an office space style look.
Right,
So
well, we also
the
wanted to
lines on
make-
the ceiling and everything were important to how we shot it.
That's why you took the time.
Yeah, we also wanted to make it where everything in her world is dark and very colorful, and his world is bright but very dull.
Once she's gone, you
Like his tie is about the only colorful thing about him, and it's like a Canadian tie, so it's not that.
It's a shame Chris isn't here to talk about the Canadian tie. Chris is Canadian. So.
Is he really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Was that his tie, or did he bring in that tie?
Yeah.
Fun fact.
If you look in the background, there on the screensaver is the band's logo going by. So he's like total fan.
Lumberg. There's the trolley. Trolley, you rolled him out.
Mark, you want to talk a little bit about how we pulled off moving you around behind that wall?
Well, I was kind of surfing on a push cart or something.
Yeah.
What happened really before that was I had injured my back, and I had a blown disc. So doing these quad things was kind of tough, but it was all in good fun.
So he eats rats?
Whitney Wegman, Becky Otterbot says, wait, this isn't a cocktail event?
Becky, okay.
Guess I was wrong. The only thing that's in close proximity to me is this Coke, so.
She also said, ha, Mark the Creeper.
Like this right here, this is, and there was a picture that was behind me. This is our living room that we not only shot with lots of red front light and some blue, but we got all the LEDs and the lights above, and there's LEDs behind the couch to really change the color.
Yeah, nobody can tell that that's our living room.
Yeah.
His face.
Oh.
So soft. Oh my God.
No complaints from the neighbors after shooting this.
Now, interesting thing. Somebody asked me about the rat.
Yeah.
And how cheesy the rat looks. You're not really allowed to harm animals on film. It's a big no-no.
Like that?
So
Like that, yeah.
So we really just kind of played up the comedy of it by allowing the dead rats to just look
like right here, his arm falls off. More like a mole or a gopher.
I love this. He chucks the rat away and then wipes his face with the same hand. Pre-pandemic.
Not
Nobody
the
would do
bubonic
that
plague.
Oh, Mushy, the pet shop.
Yeah. Including, we actually shot a shot here of a snake eating a mouse.
The deleted scene.
Yeah, we had to delete it because you can't show any kind of harm.
Hair job.
I do know it was actually a feeder mouse, and that is what was going to happen to it. We can't show it on film.
I do like the change of the stage and all that. It does look like you're in a totally different venue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, change the backdrop, change the camera angles, a little bit of lighting. We actually changed the colors. We did red on the other side. And they've got much crazier makeup now.
The girls look great in this movie.
Yeah. How long have you been playing together?
One night only.
One morning only.
One morning only.
But, you know, David, the
Lexi's little wink.
Yeah, I had to get Lexi to do that little deal to the camera because she's wearing the Tommy Lee pants.
So that bit with Chris getting the blood in his face was hysterical to shoot. But I also want to make note that his shirt wasn't green, it was blue. And I was practicing a lot of color correction techniques on this film. And I just wanted to see if I could shift his
Oh, no
shirt
kidding.
color. Yeah.
This is the
gorgeous.
This is downtown Oceanside.
Yeah.
And it was
To shoot
that
it,
night, so it was really good.
it was a little bit foggy out, so all these downtown Oceanside shots look amazing.
This is the other corner of our living room. So
Yeah, this is the other side of the living room from the
our
rocker
apartment
side.
is behind, is the wall behind to his left.
Our manager just
Our
added
left.
20 more dates to our tour.
But yeah, we stood around with little battery-powered LEDs with color on them and different spots so that we could light them up properly.
And then Whitney got all aggressive.
Yeah.
was directed, man.
Well, we also
It said make out, okay?
We really tried to showcase San Diego a lot in this film too, to give it a sense of this is definitely where it takes place.
Dude, Jeff Zook's accent in here cracks me up every time.
I love this part so much. Yeah,
It drifts into different parts of Australia if you've been there. I
And
just came back.
he was gonna keep the accent the whole time, but then something at the end, we're like, what if he just breaks the accent and just snap?
It was hilarious.
Yeah, that was kind of like just a day of kind of deal. That was fun.
Well,
Notice the band's posters on his desktop.
On the desktop.
Yeah.
because they were frozen and
I had fun just working on all the graphic elements for this movie.
Thank you, T-Mobile.
Right? Yeah, you shot all the band photos in front of T-Mobile. That's right.
Yeah, Mike and I took the band out looking for a place. Yeah.
Had that beautiful purple and pink color to it.
It was perfect.
Perfect.
And you are going through all of this for a girl you only really spent a week with.
Oh, here I come.
It's like Jaws in the background. Just see a fin and then whoop, there he is.
Gentlemen, as fascinating as I'm sure you think Ben's love life is,
I love how much taller he is over the thing too.
I don't care.
You were such a trooper, Mark, because I remember how much pain you were in.
Right there.
He goes back out.
I think we did it 5 times or something like that.
Yeah.
That's something we kind of made up on the spot too. We saw that.
Yeah.
The cart there. We're like, oh my god, let's do it like this.
Yeah, that was definitely comedy on the spot.
And you know,
there's Kayla Sweet joining the cast.
I love the fact that you guys were willing to open that up for some experimentation. I thought that was great. It was a lot of fun.
Well, we knew that we wanted more comedy in it, and I very much am always open when we're shooting comedy to letting the actors kind of exist in the space, and then, you know, finding situational funny moments. You know,
Like that moment where he snaps back into the accent. Good day, love.
I love this whole song. I love the way
Yeah, this
it
whole
cut
montage is
together.
great.
The images are beautiful. Makes me want to shoot more music videos. So if you're a band out there looking for a director to make a music video with, please let me know.
From a safe distance.
Some of my favorite shots I did.
Yeah.
Becky Otterbot asks, why are there Post-its over the faces of the pictures at the office? Because those were the actual photos of the person whose working space that was. And so we just covered them with Post-it notes.
Right.
Yeah, and 90% of the shots on stage, those close-up cool shots are Mike Peterson.
That's right.
And this was almost all Diego on these shots. If I remember correctly.
Diego and I ran off with Kayla and Chris to go shoot the stuff down by the Midway. Yeah.
Yeah, because we were at my place setting up the dinner
That's
scene.
also
which was
Oceanside.
Yeah.
That's Oceanside.
That was a good shot too. The part harmony there.
Yeah.
I love that shot.
The statue.
Why don't you get that bird to fly across, David?
It's not real, dude.
That was a lot of money. That was
that was bird that did it for free.
That was the Gull Drone 2000. Very rare
Get
drone.
that rain shot.
Yeah, that's right. It was raining. I was like, Heidi, can we meet in Encinitas?
Yeah, like, can you come stand in the rain, please?
This is one of my favorite parts coming up right here.
And the decision to do that bop, bop, bop came about on the day too.
Yeah.
While we were looking at the image in the camera, we're like, oh, we can cut it like this.
Yeah, and we made sure like his diner, like nothing in his
He
diner
makes me
was
want to throw up right now. Just the fact that
He has good gagging noises.
yeah, he does.
You got to make sure to tell him that for you.
Dan Allen says David directs birds too. So the hotel shot was the same day as the band stuff in the morning, but we did the hotel in the evening. So we were shooting all day that day.
A long day.
Hello. We shot over 2 weekends, right?
Yeah.
Plus, you guys
And
did
again-
the one, like the Oceanside shots.
Yeah.
Had to get the LEDs in there too. So
Yeah, all
and some
told, we
people don't
had.
realize
Go
this
ahead,
shot
Pete.
right here. I love how we'll pull away and slowly reveal the bed beside her. And it's actually Lexi laying beside her. And I remember trying to adjust her in the bed just right for the shot, and I pulled on her leg wrong, the broken one, and I felt so bad.
I will also say this, and I wish John and Lexi were on with us tonight. But it was while we were shooting this, John took me out on the stairs outside the room at one point, and we were having just a talk while he was having a smoke, and he says, "I'm going to marry that girl." I was like, "Wow, really?"
Wait, why would I think that?
That gave me goosebumps.
It's okay.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Who was in charge of the lighting, dude?
Who was in charge of the lighting?
Who was the lighting?
Me, I was.
Brian.
We had the idea throughout the entire thing. We all helped, but
Yeah, we very much wanted to do the neon noir kind of look.
Well, yeah, that and it almost comes across as monochromatic, and I love that. You know.
We went round and round about how to handle these text messages. And this was kind of just thought up on the day too. The whole this part.
They get stuck.
It was so hard to get it up there.
that was the second time I tried to throw it too.
Yeah.
Oh my God, people laugh so hard on that.
I guarantee you.
People laugh so hard on that. I think they missed the final beat here where Chris basically is lying to his new girlfriend too.
Yeah.
I keep telling people like this is the story of a man who's like just really terrible about his relationships with women.
Oh, I have an AD credit in there.
Oh my God, I know. I'm looking at all this going, oh, look at these credits. Now we know what we did. It all blurs together at some point.
I love that we did the kind of classic like 80s still frame ending on the credits here.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Do we have BTS photos for this? Did we go looking?
I looked around. I don't have very many.
I have some, but I don't know how I could.
I should have thought of this.
You can
ahead of
airdrop
time.
it to me, Brian.
I wanted to. We should have played the little video of Sabo lip syncing.
Oh, that was
Queen.
That's hilarious.
To Genesis or whatever, right?
Right.
The reason I'm casually dressed. Here's the true reason why I'm casually dressed. Let me stop the share here. The real reason I'm casually dressed is I was desperately trying to find that video.
That's funny.
Chris did In the Air Tonight lip synced with the band.
perfectly lip synced.
And the band got up and played. So the girls got up behind and started playing.
Yeah. So we do have footage. I promise. I know where it is. I found it like right before this started. So, but I don't have the ability to put it up yet. But I will put it on IntelleXual tonight. So everybody can check that out. I love this movie, as it turns out. I was terribly scared of it when we got the story and we had to figure out how to make it work. But like from the moment we figured out that we could use Lindsay Katz's music and she gave us permission to do so, like all cylinders started firing. And I think it became one of our prettiest, one of our most creative, and certainly one of our more enjoyable films, I think, overall. So kudos to this film team for standing up to the challenge and making it happen. Now, that said, we did get a question. What was the most challenging part in making the film? Who wants to tackle that first?
Spiders.
Spiders. Michael Shane, why don't you tell us your story about spiders?
Cats or dogs or nothing. It was just spiders and stinky lizards. And it was horrible.
Well,
they had tarantulas. They had tarantulas, big old tarantulas. And one time.
And bird-eating spiders too, like full on. This was your creepy pet store.
It was not.
Yeah, this was not Petco. It wasn't. Mike's Pets down in Chula Vista is a specialty pet store, and behind the counter was a ton of spiders, like big, gnarly, big as my hand.
And I don't like spiders.
Creepy, crawly spiders. And Michael Shane is more scared of spiders than I am, and that's really saying something. He'd walk over to hit, like, we had to put the camera in front of the spiders a couple of times, and he'd do this and hit record, and then he'd walk away. He's like, somebody else has to watch it.
Well,
it was hilarious.
Yeah, for me, for some strange reason, we found it necessary to use actual frozen rats. I don't understand.
Frosting. They kept frosted, and I remember they were leaking. Bags were leaking.
But they were starting to soften too. So every time you slapped it down on the counter, it was getting worse, and they started squishing.
But I had to take
bad.
I had to take a blob of frozen rats this big and slice it up into little pieces so we could fit in those stupid bags.
Wow, I didn't know that.
That's what you get for being the producer, right?
Well, as I recall, our fake rats were too big.
They were, and they didn't look right frozen. I tried.
And they didn't look, they didn't look at all right in the bag. Like they just looked like weird bundles of fur. So the pet shop guy was like, "Hey, I got a bunch of frozen rats. Like we can just stick them in a bag."
Yeah. So that was Dan, who owns Mike's Pet Shop. I kept getting that mixed up all the time, but. So he tells me, I said, "Where did you get these rats from?" "Oh yeah, some guy catches them in his attic. He sells them to me."
Free range.
Free range rats.
There's some pile of rats from some guy's attic, and I'm chopping them up.
Joe,
you don't want to know the whole truth. You don't want to know.
Joe, you got that location for us, right? How did you find Mike's Pet Shop?
I just looked in Googled pet shops, found one close by, and I went in and talked to the guy, and he was game, and we did it. It was great. It was really.
Didn't they have like a big giant lizard walking around?
Yeah, they had like a river monitor. They're just walking.
So yeah, he's gigantic. He's probably 6 feet long, and probably a little longer.
I'm like low-key obsessed with water monitors. I think they're the cutest thing. They're like gigantic dinosaurs. I love them.
So he had like a little pet corral outside the back door, so he could go outside the back door, get a little fresh air. But it wasn't too long after our shoot that he disappeared. He got away, but he found him again. He eventually got him back.
So answering the question, I like the concert, doing all the concert stuff. It was one of our longest days because we did the music stuff in the bar all day, and then we did the hotel scene at night, as well as taking the girls out to get all the graphic photos done.
Well, and in between the bar and the hotel, that's when Kayla and Chris and I went with Diego to go shoot the Midway stuff too.
Yeah, so you guys went and did that while it was
a crazy day.
It was a crazy day. It was a whole lot, but it was fun, and like we had 5 cameras going. But all the camera ops, which were all of the guys that we all just really sync up real well, and everybody did an amazing job not being in each other's shots, but giving us very creative shots at the same time. We're like, this is your angle, just find us something good, like this is your spot, give us something, or telling them try this, and then they'd come up to us and say, hey, I think I can do this. It's like, great, do it. Mikey gave us a whole bunch of the handheld shots, the close-up handheld shots on stage, and did a phenomenal job getting us those shots. So I really enjoyed the concert day. It was long as hell, but very gratifying with how it turned out.
I love shooting concerts. It's like one of my favorite things.
Yeah, and we had an amazing group of extras that were just wonderful to be there. Yep. And they were happy to be there, and it took us a while to set up because we had to do all the setup and all the lighting and then change lighting and shift. They learned the music. They learned the words to the music. So they started mouthing the music and everything like they were actually at a concert and stuff. No, they were we, asked them if they were cool being there a lot longer than we originally planned, and no, they were all very, very great set of extras that we had there. So
I'm trying to share photos as my virtual background. Here's Mikey on stage shooting Lexi.
Nice.
Well, here I've got photos. I'm sharing them now.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark.
So this is the bar. This is what we were doing in the bar. You can see here we had a Dana dolly that Michael Shane brought in for his camera. You had just gotten that too, though, right, Michael Shane? So you weren't tremendously confident with moving the camera on it.
No, and that was not stable at all. It was worrisome.
This is doing the Aerosmith thing and the
fog machine and stuff.
Fleetwood Mac thing with the scarves on the mic stand.
Right.
Teresa, are those our mom scarves? Is that what we use?
Yeah, those are mom scarves. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So once again, finding a way to pay tribute to our parents within the films.
I'm trying to send you photos, Dave. Is that going to...
What's that?
I was going to send you some of my behind the scenes photos I have.
Yeah, I just got the email.
Is that
see all the different lighting? Teresa was tired.
Nap time. Hey, you gotta learn to take a nap whenever you can.
Yeah.
Whitney.
Oh, that's a cool photo.
Whitney, as I recall, you actually did your best to kind of learn the
chords.
Chords,
Yeah.
right?
Well, so John, my husband, he actually plays guitar, has since he was like a teenager, and plays really well. So I had him listen to the music, and I'm like, help me figure out what chords I should be playing. And
it's either a D or a D diminished right there.
I don't remember anymore. I think it was like D, G, D7 maybe. It was like
Nice.
4-chord progression. But yeah, I actually learned the chords for it before we shot. I'm like, if a guitarist watches this, I want them to be able to be like, no, that is a real chord.
It looks like a real chord.
It might not be the right chord, but it's a real chord.
Close enough.
It was the right chord.
But yeah, I loved your dedication to try and figure that stuff out with. That was really great.
Devil's in the details, man.
Oh, that was after Chris's singing, that one picture.
Oh, now we're in the hotel room.
And his singing video is in this collection once you give it about halfway.
Nice.
Yeah. As I recall, that was a hotel right down in Hotel Circle, as I recall.
Yes, and so we actually put a light outside the room to shine in, to give a little color coming in. And yeah, that's one of Mom's scars on the lamp. And
yeah, the people
fire hazard.
walking by were like, what are you guys doing?
Cheesy hotel, pink light. What could possibly be filming?
And we wanted the light there to be yellow, a different color that we hadn't really had yet.
Yeah, the yellow kind of represented that she was in a different place now than where she was when she was with him, quote unquote.
Yeah, this one we had all of our camera people. So we had me, we had both the mics, we had Diego, we had Brian. So I mean, like, we pulled out as many of us, our camera crew, as we could for this shoot.
I can smell that photo.
We mixed a lot of cameras in this too. So we got DSLRs, we got a Ursa Mini. We
used iPhones.
Blackmagic Pocket Cinema. We used iPhones for some shots.
I had a Panasonic from ProComp that we tried to use.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. I want to show everybody the house. So this is our living room.
This is what we shot right after Christmas, right?
Yeah. This was the first stuff we shot. Very first stuff we shot was in the house.
That's why the Christmas tree was still up and stuff in Chris's
apartment shot. Yeah.
That's right. And I went and I decorated this. So like the 2 wall arts I went and bought at a store. A lot of the knickknacks and things you see on the shelves is actually stuff we own, and just placed. I grabbed around the house, replaced.
Except the skull and these two sculptures are brother-in-laws.
Yeah,
Yeah.
our
Cool
brother-in-law's that he
demonic
makes.
sculptures.
Yeah.
I love that triangular mirror thing that you have on the wall. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, we picked that up at Ross, right?
Yeah, that one and the one by the door too. I grabbed that
And
one
then-
too.
Here in the bottom right is the snake aquarium. Oh, there's a better shot shooting through it. So it's like right in the middle of the living room there.
This
And
is
it
the
basically
fake snake.
divides her apartment from his apartment, at least in the shot of him shirtless talking to her early on.
Oh yeah, by the
dining
tree.
room was Mike's dining room. Mike P.
Yeah. So this fake snake, we wanted to try and make it look real. So at one point in the movie, if you're paying attention closely, you can actually see it kind of like moving in the bottom of the screen.
And I slathered him with Vaseline
Yeah,
on
so
the
it was
spots that
shiny.
you could see in, so he looked shiny in the close-ups.
Ah, so that that terrarium was a Craigslist find down in my neighborhood.
Yeah, it's rotting on the side of our house now.
It was it was nasty. You know how much work I had to do to clean that thing up. It was nasty.
I want to point this out. This is our front door, and this is a fake brick wall that we brought in to hide our window because we wanted to make it look like she lived in a kind of like New York style
apartment.
Yeah, like a loft kind of thing.
Yeah, like a loft apartment.
God
I don't know
bless
how
you,
much
Brick.
of that brick you ever ended up seeing, but
Yeah. There's brick on the other side too, on the opposing wall, but I don't think we see it.
But if nothing else, it blocked out the light from that window. So
Yeah, exactly.
Make
True.
it feel more like an apartment.
Heidi, how did it feel to step into that and have all that stuff in place? Did it help you kind of feel like that was her home? I know you ended up writing something on our chalkboard too, didn't you?
Yeah. I forgot what I put on there, but it definitely I liked it. I mean, I know that when we did the last interview, whenever that was, and I was wearing the same shirt and you were like, yeah, the casting was spot on. I really did feel at home in this place. Like, I love the cowhide. The triangle mirrors is awesome. I would totally have a snake for a pet if I could. So it was great.
Fantastic. That is fantastic. Let me see here. Okay.
I think that helped too, like with the scene in the bar on the stage. I think that helped the girls get into the feel that, hey, I am a musician. I'm not, we didn't just, create a little black box with some curtains and, a little tiny pop-up.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
So I pointed out earlier that we used my mom's scarves, and that's how we got my mom into the movie. My mom was a singer, by the way. I don't know if you knew that, Heidi.
I did not.
But this stereo on the shelf here, this turntable and this old stereo here.
And all the records.
And all of these records were my dad's.
Cool.
So that's how we got our parents into this one.
Yep.
So cool. Okay.
I think it's sweet that you always try to include them.
Yeah, we tried.
Well,
we
and,
tried.
and I should point out here, this record here that says Symphony No. 1 by Carl Dawson. That's our grandfather.
Oh, no
Oh,
way.
awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
He wrote 2 symphonies, so his symphony makes an appearance here
Wow.
as well.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah,
So
we're
family all over the place.
We're very specific. Yeah. So these are our brother-in-laws. He sculpts those, and
Wow.
Yeah, so families all over in the
So
intellectual.
it looks like
movies.
David was the model for that one. I'm serious.
So
A little lizard statue adds to it. A little dragon down there.
what was going on with my hair?
oh gosh,
Weird.
Totally don't remember that.
Yeah, neither do I. It's probably a reason for that.
I think you and I were twinsies right then, David, like just with the
Oh.
hair in the middle.
Did I have a mohawk at the time?
oh,
had a
you
mohawk.
probably had. I had a mohawk at the time.
Yeah, there were like 3 people.
But
with
even like the
mohawks.
lighting of in
something.
this scene on Chris has more of a natural lighting, whereas she is
Yeah.
really, really saturated.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all that's intentional. And we thought about all that very much. This was right on the heels of shooting Forever My Love, where we had Randy always in shadow, and
Yeah.
so we kind of kept with that motif going forward. Like Heidi's character is always in the red and blues, and Chris is kind of peripherally in her sphere, but not entirely. So he's never as saturated with that color as she is.
Well,
and the one time we see her in his world is when they're doing the rat out on in the park, and she's still in a black band T-shirt. She's still not, it's very much her style.
Yeah.
We were very influenced by like John Wick, Atomic Blonde at this time, all the neon noir stuff, which I love because I love color. I love saturation. It was fun.
Oh yeah, this is going to be normal for us for a long time.
Yep.
No,
my
you
favorite.
have to go to the pet store.
I wish Chris was here to talk about working with the fake snake. So we had to montage him doing different visits to feed the snake, and each one ramping up a different reaction. Okay, how scared can you be this time? Be more scared now. Like it was a real like actor's journey to go from various levels of scared to not scared to then, oh my God, you want to throw up. It was a lot of fun working with Chris. He was very much game for trying everything we threw at him, which was really cool.
Yeah, I just want to say, for it being like my first thing that I've ever shot, it was great working with him. He really made me feel comfortable, and it was a lot of fun to have him around. It was definitely.
I never would have guessed that was your first. That was well done.
Thanks.
Same with Richard too. I don't know how many Richard had under his belt, but he did a good job as well.
Thanks. Only a couple of pieces.
Yeah.
So this is the other of that same room. So just so you can see, there's the aquarium. There's the other brick wall that we brought in. So yeah. So movie magic, 2 different locations in the same place.
When did you guys shoot those daytimes? Because I know that when you shot the earlier stuff, I was kind of bummed out because you guys were shooting before I came back from Florida for Christmas.
Yeah, it was all during the Christmas break.
It was before I got back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mikey ended up coming back early from his trip. He wasn't supposed to be around for this shoot either. But it was like nonstop snowing in Minnesota. Nobody was doing anything. So he was like, that's it, I'm coming home.
It was -10. I'm like, this is stupid.
He's like, when are you guys filming? We're like, these days. He's like, I'm coming home.
So we got a couple of questions. Someone asked, is this a true story? And did the snake really die from not being fed? So yes, to the best of my knowledge, this is Eber Lambert's story. The kind of core of this whole story is still the same story he told. And yes, a snake died because I guess he didn't follow through on feeding his girlfriend's snake. Yeah, I remember when we did the screening. Do you guys remember doing the screening?
Yeah.
The True San Diego screening, and no idea who Eber was. So I didn't know if the writer was in the audience or not. I had no idea what his thoughts were going to be about the film or not. I was terrified the whole time we were watching the movie. Like, oh my gosh, what if he doesn't like it? You know, how do I answer to somebody who doesn't really like it? You know,
will he not like the little changes we made or whatever? You know, like, yeah.
Yeah. And what was amazing was after the Q&A, this very tall man comes rushing down the center aisle at MOPA and comes up and shakes my hand and says, I just want to tell you how much I enjoyed that. I was like, oh, that's great. He goes, I'm Eber. I go, oh, hi. He goes,
oh, wow.
You nailed Lilith. Like, you just absolutely nailed her personality. Like, I'm so excited by the movie. I was like, oh, thank goodness.
Yeah, he loved it. He was super jazzed by the whole thing. So,
and I did not know at the time he's also Adam Lambert's father.
Yep.
Oh, cool.
So we did a rock and roll movie about the father of a guy who like professionally works in rock and roll. So
very cool.
Weird synergies all around. Question came in: is there real life chemistry? This is for Rich and Sam. Is there real life chemistry between the blonde girl who gives the eyebrow raise and the guy she gives it to?
You write question?
What was that?
I said, Richard, did you write that question?
I told you I'm too awkward to write that question.
He's too British. He can't write that question.
No.
And whoever asked that question really made him blush, though.
Oh yeah.
I thought
Well, it
Sam
didn't
was
even
going to
Chris in
fall
the
out of her
video.
chair.
Oh my God.
Quote Chris in the movie. I don't like to kiss and tell. No.
It's so funny.
Well, it is funny because there is a lot of kind of, characters all throughout this movie kind of getting together in the film, right?
Well, then my next question
They're all
would
a
be,
bunch of horn dogs.
Was there a little something between Whitney and Heidi? Or
Well, we already know that because
Heidi's
Whitney
gorgeous.
attacks her. Whitney attacks her.
How can you not be attracted to Heidi? One, but two, she's great and lovely to work with. So of course we have chemistry.
It was very professional.
Professional chemistry.
Professional chemistry, yes.
There you go.
Very
Yeah, we
professional chemistry.
Yes.
Thank you, Heidi.
A very professional
Followed my orders.
eyebrow.
I followed my orders.
Yes, I gave a professional eyebrow. That was a professional eyebrow.
It's funny. Everybody talks about Sam's eyebrow in that moment, but what I notice and gets me is she does a little shoulder shimmy. She does a little shoulder shimmy when she turns, and that's more. I'm like, yeah, she's really playing it on that one.
She also gives just a slight bit of duck lips.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Speaking of on
She
set,
pulled out all the stops.
It's a lot of nuance.
you want to follow up on set chemistry? I had since producing films, I had two couples that got married after meeting on my set.
Really?
Including this one.
Yeah.
Right, Lexi and John. I mean,
Yeah.
and then Peter Mickelson and Deepti King I met on You Pack It.
Oh wow, that's
So I
cool.
had two couples that got married after meeting on sets of my films.
Nice.
Wait, but Lexi and John knew each other before this movie, right?
Yeah, Lexi and John.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I think that's where the spark came, right, David?
That's
All right.
right.
Well, no, I can't tell
They
that
knew each
story
other,
anymore.
but-
It was
Well,
when
because-
John told me what was up. That's all I know.
Okay.
Oh,
All right. Well, I
there we
can't
go.
tell that story anymore.
Aw.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I still love. I
just
still
say
love
that
you
this
guys.
happened after being on your set. You don't have to say that after meeting on your set. Just after
Yeah.
being
Well, that
on
does.
your set.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't. Okay. I'm going home
Oh, poor Joe.
Oh, that's so
now. I
funny.
love you guys. And by that I mean I hate you guys.
Oh, there it is.
Jen
Joe,
Allen says,
what do you know?
Jen
Hey,
Allen
Joe,
says
what do you
great.
know?
Jen Allen says great lighting on this, you guys. It's. I'm sorry, this group. You guys just crack me up. I can't even think straight. I'm gonna take a look at what's going on with Michael Shane. Teresa, ask some questions of the group.
Ask some questions of the group.
And repeat
Sure.
slowly while you think of the question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nope. Don't have one. This is splendid.
The host of the
This is
family.
good. See, this is why I don't do this job. This is David's job. So
The out of audience questions? The audience doesn't have any questions?
well, David has control of those. So
Let me-
David's in the middle
Oh.
of doing certain things. So I don't have access to the
Here-
questions.
here's the phone number. If you if we haven't
David's
asked a
fault.
question. Clark Smith apparently
Oh,
was
there he
asleep
is.
when we started. He asks, "What was the subject matter of the other two entries?"
Hamsters. There was hamsters in one of them.
Well,
It's
yeah,
like 92 hamsters or something like that.
The It was a
hamsters are
kid.
guinea pigs.
He was a
like,
kid and
yeah,
a million guinea pigs.
It was like wombats.
Yeah,
that would-
yeah. It was like totally like a reproducing guinea pig kind of fiasco.
And then the other one was just like two guys, one kidnaps the other, and
Well, the guinea pig one was they were show guinea pigs, and she took them to the fair, and she raised them and groomed them and took them to the fair. And
yeah,
and
but
her-
she had like a million of them.
right, and her story went from her being like maybe 10 or 12 to being 15 or 16. So would have to deal with that.
Right, but
Mhm.
somewhere in there, the actual beat or the heart of that story had to do with like one
Mhm.
of her parents having cancer or dying of cancer, but it was like one paragraph towards the end
Yeah.
that actually had like some meat and potatoes. Do you remember that, Mark? It was like meat and potatoes.
And it wasn't that long of a
paragraph at the
story.
end.
Right.
And we're like, so do we make a movie about the one paragraph?
Right.
And the other one was a Stockholm syndrome story that kind of went from being kidnapped to being buddy with the kidnapper in like 12 seconds.
Yeah. Now, if I recall too, when we did all this and the stories came in, David, you were out of town. David wasn't even in town. I think David Skyped in. He phoned it in.
That sounds likely.
Yeah.
Because I remember.
Pretty sure he phoned it in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah.
The night that they all came out, I was out of town, but I was in town in time to make the final decision.
Yeah, because we had like 2 days or something to decide, right? 2 or 3 days.
Yeah. So
I do know we wanted to go.
I remember how deflated the entire team seemed to be when I showed up.
Oh, when we got off
and make that final decision. Like,
yeah,
there was, and we did, in fact, I got to be honest, we lost some people who were going to work on this movie with us who went to other teams because they didn't like what our choices were going to be.
Yeah, they didn't like any of the choices we had. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just an honest, true thing. They were unhappy with the potential stories that we were left to work with, and they backed out of working with us. They went and worked on some other films.
So Mushy, I have a question for Mushy. So Mushy, this was the third film you had worked with us in the course of like a year.
Yeah, it was a bad idea. It was a bad idea. And I still feel that way. Like it's like a low point in my career. Oh, what's the question?
My question for you is more of you have especially got to really see that how we like to progress from film to film and how we like to try to change it up. And so that, I mean, 3 films in 1 year, you really, got a good taste of how that is as another artist coming into the group at this stage and stuff like that. How is that for you to deal with the fact that we change it up so often or try to do different things? Is it hard to adjust in, or is it just as exciting for you too to try to do different things?
It wasn't hard at all. Like one thing in some of the films I worked on before this one, they were people that were going the most direct route to make a film. Like 9.8 times out of 10, your people aren't trying to make it harder on themselves. They're not like, okay, let's throw some details into this to make it way more complicated. And so a lot of people I've worked with before are like, okay, that guy's there, we shoot it this way. Put the light there, it's very simple, it's very straightforward. Whereas, with Forever My Love with the doc and putting a big scrim out there and trying to keep Randy in the dark and you guys were pushing the envelope of what you guys have already done, and you weren't doing the same thing. It's not, you weren't like, okay, let's light it the way we know how. I remember David, Mikey, and you, we had like a big long day where we were just messing with LED panels and stuff with just trying to figure out where to go and stuff like that. And 48s or other teams in this town that don't really take it seriously, they don't put that much effort into it. Whereas I was like, you guys were pushing it and saying, I don't know if we can do this or if we can pull it off. Let's see what happens. And we pulled it off beyond anybody's, my expectations. It's a gorgeous film. So I was excited to be around people who were like, no, we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it the easy way. We're going to do it the right way. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it's beautiful.
And that kind of boils down to also like our story ideas. Is there wasn't the best of story ideas to work with in a like traditional story kind of.
Really, Brian, that's the picture. It's hard for me to take you serious if that's the picture you're going to use.
There we go. Sorry about that.
That is literally what Brian looked like when I first met him, guys.
All right, start again, Brian. Keep going.
But that also goes with our story idea that we had to work with and that we then massaged into a script. That it was, okay, if this is our story and let's make it as interesting as we can, And one of the ways we can do that is with the visuals and the colors and the locations and doing the pre-planning that way. So we're like, okay, this is what we're given. Let's do the best we can with that.
Well, and we also wanted to go dark comedy because of that.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
we
so
had done a stream of like serious drama films. Like let's change up with the lighting. Let's change up like this. Let's go back to comedy for a chance.
Yeah.
Although interestingly, it's a comedy, yes, but it's also a drama.
Oh yeah.
It's a dramedy. We went with a dramedy.
It's definitely a dramedy, and I think we were only able to pull that off because of some of the confidence that I got from making In Situ, where I felt like I could tell a love story or a love story gone bad. Because prior to making that, I don't think I could have felt comfortable trying to tackle this movie in the way that we did.
I think it helped. Absurdist than black comedy, but go ahead, T.
Yeah, well, I think it helped too that with the actor we chose, once we realized the direction we wanted to go with it, the kind of absurd comedy of it, asking Sabo was like the easy choice for us, because we had just seen him in
Evil Dead the musical downtown, and he was fabulous in it.
And me and Mike had worked with them on the Star Wars film.
Yeah. So this was our first time working with him. And I remember calling him, and I remember trying to explain to him sort of what he was going to have to do about rats and, snakes and things. But I think having, once we decided to do that absurd comedy, finding the right actor to play that part was very important for us. That's for sure. So I think having
finding
Chris
Heidi.
Yeah.
We needed the right band leader.
Yeah.
Of a girls band.
Yeah. We had the best set of girls for the band. So somehow it just
Samantha, you're fantastic. Yeah, everybody fit the part really great. Yeah. And
I want to give a shout out to Heidi and Samantha both, because I feel like I discovered the two of you by helping teach some classes with Terry Ross at Acting Professionally. And I came in as a kind of guest instructor to work on continuity and stuff. And the two of you both kind of really impressed me while we were working on things, and I wanted to work with you guys. And so once this opportunity came up, I was like, I got to get them in. Let's figure out how to make that work. And the fact that I had a band, like, okay, it's a girl band. I can bring in all these lovely actresses that I want to work with who, they might not be the biggest parts necessarily, but we can have some fun and, kind of get to know each other professionally a little bit. And hopefully we find more things to work on together. Right.
Yeah,
and Richard,
I remember that was awesome.
And Richard was a friend of Whitney's, right?
Yeah. Whitney and I had just finished this wacky play.
Yeah, we did a show over in City Heights together.
Yeah.
It was a post-apocalyptic, futuristic
something or the other
political thing.
It was like portrayal of these times in a dystopian, futuristic kind of way. Yeah.
Okay.
We mentioned before, this also gave Richard a chance to try an American accent. He's like, I need some practice. This is something I really want to do. And like, sure, go for it. Absolutely.
How do you feel that went, Rich?
6 or 7 out of 10.
Great honesty.
I need to work on my inflections, I think, but yeah.
So one thing about this film in particular is we had a lot of fun and we laughed a lot. Like once we finally figured out how we were going to get through, we laughed a lot. I remember David editing this and he'd just be busting up laughing as he's editing over and over and over again. But I distinctly remember Mr. Richard Hawkins
in the office
having a massive giggle attack.
Meltdown.
a complete meltdown, and could like
Office is
to
so
the
much
point to where
fun.
he couldn't even look at Mark for
Yeah.
certain things because he would just start laughing again. You know, like he just
Yeah.
could not get through lines. So funny.
Mark would just look at me like this kind of way. Like get back to work. I just couldn't. I think I had to leave for one shoot for one take. I had to leave. I just couldn't. I had to
You
just.
did. I remember
that.
Yeah, there was a lot of laughter on this set.
It was a lot. It was a lot of fun to do.
It was.
And
Okay.
yeah,
Go
the
ahead,
credit
Mark.
to you guys for keeping it light too.
Well, we try to do that on our sets. Teresa and I both, kind of feel like if we can't enjoy what we're doing, then what the hell's the point?
I agree.
Do we shoot this after the Idlewild cabin retreat that we did? Or is
No,
this...
Idlewild, no. So all those things came to us after we just finished shooting Toss Aside.
Okay. We shot.
And then Joe's like, "Oh, I need you guys to do all the film
parodies
awards
for the
things.
film awards.
Parodies.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
This year we did the Doctor Who and the Back to the Future and
Star Wars.
Frankenstein and Star Wars and all that stuff for the film awards. Yeah.
And Mushy and the T-Rex costume.
T-Rex. So fun. It's so much fun with T-Rex. It was so funny.
I lost. I deflated, and it was awkward.
Okay, guys, we got a couple of comments and questions that have come in. Becky Otterbach says, "Excellent brick wall props. I would have had no idea that they weren't part of the actual room."
Sweet.
Interesting thing about those brick wall props,
we've used them a few times.
Yeah, we've used them a bunch. If you watched any of our live streams of the Intellectual Talk Show, they were props for us to turn a
soccer office.
Meeting room at a soccer office, youth soccer club's office. Turn it into a brick walled set for our show. We used them 3 weeks ago in the Crowdsourced the movie scene 3 that we shot here in the backyard. We used those 2 brick walls as the brick wall that are behind me while I'm holding the sword in the rain. They're incredibly useful props. They're
right here.
They're $25 a piece at Home Depot.
Well, they're actually 30. It's a sheet, which is that thick. You have to build a frame, so you just have to, you just staple it on. But yeah, it's just
incredibly simple thing to up the production value. And not terribly expensive. All told, even with the wood for the frames and whatnot, I mean, you're talking less than what, $75?
Yeah,
maybe $90.
They were like 20. Yeah, they went up a little bit, but
we've had them now for like 4 years, and we've used them for a ton of
these
stuff.
have been sitting outside for 2 years in the rain, not even covered, and they're all warped away from their frame. But I just rested them up here, and they're strapped on the back so that they don't fall off the fence. But
yeah, easy stuff to kind of change the production value.
Right.
Jen Allen says, "Love the laughs. How many days did it take to shoot this?"
7.
It
was 7 days.
We had the 1 day here at the house.
Yeah.
We had
1 day at the office.
1 day at the
1 day at the office.
1 day at the bar.
1 day at the bar in the hotel. 1 day. It was 1 day at the
we never
Midway.
we never spent more than
my
a day
apartment.
in location.
And your apartment and the
pet store.
Pet store. That was all the same day. So that was 5 days there.
And then the outside stuff in the canyon.
The canyon stuff was a day. So that's 6. Then there was a day at Oceanside, which was an evening.
That was like an evening shot. Yeah.
That's 7. Grabbing Heidi when it was raining randomly to go shoot her standing in the rain.
So 7.5
was on an 8th day. So yeah, so I mean, we spent a long time in production on it, which was I think it shows,
2 days in one location, or maybe our apartment, maybe.
No, we shot everything in the apartment in 1 day.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Whitney, how did you get your lighting to be like totally a Pantene ad?
So I'm sitting in front of an actual window that has texture to it, so.
Totally like a Pantene. Okay, go ahead.
Awesome.
I'm gonna spotlight Whitney and make sure everybody can see. Yeah.
There you go.
Looks great, Whit.
Oh, I thought you were sitting in front of a back.
Yeah, he's
That's
looking
the
good.
light. That's cool.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
this is my kitchen window is just, it's got this texture pattern to it. And whenever the sun's right here, it also is like right in my eyes. So I'm like, it's the light.
So we just got a message from Lexi. She says, sending you all love. Miss you guys. Sorry they couldn't join in. So that's a message from Lexi.
We love you, Lexi and John.
Becky Damaski says Christopher Louis Zabo was great, not too over the top. So thank you for that review, Becky. Clark Smith asks, whose idea was all the S's in the title?
That was your idea.
Oh, yeah.
That's a David.
That's a David
That's a
idea.
David joke.
Becky
Sure.
Damask already responded and said it's the snakes.
David refuses to use real words in his titles.
It's true. It's true.
Hold on.
Yes.
This is the first time I made shit up in a title. All the other titles are real words, real meaning. And this title are real words that
You
just
like to
misspelled.
do titles that nobody can pronounce. Nobody knows how to say the titles.
And I would think it makes it harder to search on Amazon.
Do regret the extra S's for that reason.
Yeah.
But yes, it's yeah, so there you go. Real quick, before we wrap up, I would like to hear everybody's favorite memory from making the film. Mark Allen, let's start with you.
Okay, well, I mean, since I was in the office only, my favorite memory of it was the surfing on the cart, and it being kind of just an impromptu, let's do this. Everybody was really game to have a laugh there in that bit. So that was my favorite moment, but it was really overall one of my funnest times on set in a long time. So that is a giant memory.
Yay. I was the one pushing you on that cart too.
That's right. That's right.
Trying so hard not to laugh like crazy.
Yeah. Another comment came in, or question came in from Becky Otterbot. She wants to know, how did we get the snake out of the tree?
Rocks at it, right?
Mike Peterson, I'm going to put you on this because you're the guy responsible for that image.
I think it's still there.
To begin with, and B, I think it just fell out in the end.
Yeah.
But Mike, tell us how we came up with that shot.
We were above an office complex, actually above Digital Workshops office complex, right? That's where we tossed it.
No, we tossed it where we did the canyon.
It was in the canyon. Okay. Oh, that's right.
I think I have a
I
photo.
threw it first time, and it didn't go anywhere near as far.
Or high or anything.
It was just a horrible toss.
You gotta go down the canyon and get it.
Had to go down the canyon, which is a serious grade. I almost ate shit. I don't know how many times.
That's the canyon on screen now.
Yeah. But then
on the right
we went back, tossed it again, and I don't even remember. I think it just fell out either with the wind or whatever, because we almost used it in the back of the truck shoot there the other month.
Tree that came out.
I think we started throwing stuff up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sean. We threw Sean up there. He grabbed it.
I think we were throwing shoes. I think
it was shoes. That might be right.
Was that your favorite memory, Mike? Throwing the snake into the tree?
Oh God, I don't even know what my favorite memory would be. It's just the overall. Obviously, the band stuff was amazing. I would say probably taking the photos. The band cover photos.
Taking the band photos, yeah.
Whereas some of my favorite shots that I did.
That was fun.
There's a couple of shots of Sam and of Heidi and of Whitney that are just like stunning. I remember getting the image files and just going, ooh, I can make posters. I was so excited by the images I saw. I was like, this is great.
Yeah, that was fun. We did a bunch of B-roll shots. So like we did stuff in the parking garage of Mission Valley. So like when you do some of those montages and there's those little B-roll clips, that was all that time, that night.
Yeah.
Yeah, we also went out and got cocktails and got pictures of us having cocktails for the tabloids.
Yep. Yeah. We did that too.
We did. I think that's probably one of the other things. Like we did so much behind the scenes stuff doing this film that you don't get to do with. I've never really got to do. Like we did Q&As with everyone cast and crew for bonus features. Like we did all that kinds of fun stuff also.
We should totally do like a mock reunion Zoom kind of deal. Get with Lindsay, get a new song, get it to all the girls, and have them do a Zoom lip sync fake reunion kind of
in quarantine. That's a great idea.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Quarantine concert.
Yes.
The benefit. We're gonna save the world.
You girls down for that?
I'm down. I love her music. It was fun memorizing
It was
everything.
good.
It was so easy to, like, the songs were stuck in my head forever.
This time I can play it on my banjo for real. Baby.
Yeah, Whitney's been learning to play the banjo.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
David, contact Lindsay, see if she's got anything with a banjo in it.
I'm
she's
sure
like,
she
if not,
could,
she'd be like, I could write something.
yeah, I'm sure she could come up with something.
She needs some harmonies and stuff, and that'd be great.
Sam, what was your favorite time on set? Like, what was your biggest memory of the day that you were out shooting with us?
I think I was only on set for 1 or 2 days. I think it was 1 day, but I just remember I had so much fun getting to, like, I've never ever been like a pop star or a rock star, and that was really fun because my dad's actually a musician. And my dad does a lot of like really big shows. So for me, I was like, this is kind of cool. I get to like think about everything I've seen my dad do and when it comes to performing and like try and do it myself. So that was a blast. It's kind of like a weird kind of like, I don't know, like you were saying, like a synergy of like my personal life and my acting life. So that was pretty cool.
I think you did a great job too there. I think you brought just enough of that kind of, you're playing to the crowd. You're not, but you brought it as you're playing to the crowd, not playing to the camera.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't acting at being a musician. You were just being a musician, and this is how musicians move. And you know, every musician does that. And it wasn't over the top or anything weird. It really worked out good.
Thanks. It was fun. It was a great opportunity. So I'm very thankful to have been part of this film.
I'm trying to do something here. I'm going to share something real quick. Because I love the posters that we were able to make. Can you guys see those?
Yeah.
Yes. T-Mobile.
Yeah.
We were driving. So we were driving. We had just done the parking garage stuff. We had done a bunch of some of the B-roll shots, and we were on our way to do the drinks. I had the idea to do the drinks with the paparazzi, and we were driving past the Target there, and I barely caught a glimpse of this like pink glow. And I'm like, Mikey, pull over. And everyone's following us. I'm like, just pull over, and we walked over. I'm like, here, pictures. We're going to get all sorts of good stuff right here. It was such a random find.
I love it because they really look like they're a band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. Security guard came. He's like, what are you guys doing? I'm like, we're here. We're photographers and we're just taking some shots and stuff. He's like, oh, cool. And he stood behind us and was looking at the shots. He goes, ooh, that's nice.
I just like that we each have very specific personalities in that photo. Like you can see the different attitudes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's one of the things I think that sells you guys as a band is like you legitimately look like 4 different people, which is like fantastic.
Yeah, each one has a different range of smile, a different degree of smile. From Lexi, who is downturned, to Sam, who's straight.
I look pissed.
And then Whitney has more.
And you guys kept it when I did individual shots of you guys each as well. And you guys kept that throughout the entire thing.
I So I imagine my character is like kind of being the cocky tomboy. So in each shots, I was like,
I could pick her
smart
up.
ass.
You definitely came across as you wanted to be the leader of the band, but you didn't want to like necessarily overshadow Heidi because you saw her as being the front person, but you definitely felt that you deserved front space with her.
Well, she was supposed to be like my mate, so I think that's part of that psychology too, not just the band. Turns out she was cheating on me and everybody.
Is it cheating if it's an open relationship? I don't know.
So here's a question: So you were with at least two of the three ladies. In the backstory, is there any you and Sam, or is that just
maybe?
No,
Who knows?
She's got her eyes on the prize, I think.
Yeah, she got Richard, man.
Richard, so you didn't want to step on Richard's toes. So.
Yeah.
Well, maybe there's a reason. This is my own headspace. Maybe there's a reason why Richard's character knew it wasn't going to work for Ben.
The analyst.
I figured that was just pillow talk.
Becky Damas says those are cool posters. Becky Otterbot, we got a lot of Beckys in the chat room today.
That's good.
LOL with the Zoom format, it looks like it says the band name is Tossed Ass.
Well, there's a lot of love interest, so.
Becky Damaski responds with, that would be a really good name.
Tossed Ass. Hilarious.
Yeah,
Again, it's what we filmed in the motel.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Hey, Rich, what was your favorite memory of making the film?
I mean, it was great to work with everyone. Everyone had an input in helping me understand what was going on with the story and the characters. But just getting some chemistry with Chris and working alongside him, he's such a good listener. You know, it was easy to play off him. So.
Yeah, you guys had a nice chemistry between the two of you.
Yeah, we did. No, and it was really easy to slip in and out of the characters from the moment we first met in the bar, and then in the office it was just cemented. It was good. Yeah.
Who's next? Who do I target next? Joe.
Yo.
What's your favorite memory of this crazy endeavor?
I'd have to say Chris doing the lip sync. It's so funny. Bummer you didn't have that available. Really had nothing to do with the story, but it was fun on set.
It's in that link that I sent you, David. It's there if you want to show it. It's only a minute. I only have like a minute of it.
It's hilarious.
Just your angle of it?
Yeah.
You
can give them a taste before you put the whole thing together.
Let me see here. I gotta open my email again. So Brian, why don't you tell us your favorite memory?
It was between the bar and the downtown Oceanside stuff at night. I really liked our guerrilla kind of deal with Whitney and Heidi that night, going to the different spots and by the library and the fountains and stuff. I really liked the bar that day, but as with almost every production, I always have a meltdown day. That was my meltdown day, and so I try to look past that. That would be the best day was the bar. But I really enjoyed doing the nighttime, the shots we got out downtown. It's really cool.
I don't see that video in here, Brian.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. I am
like right in the middle. It was like right in the middle. Yeah. And it's like a wide shot. You just see like a wide shot of the room, and Chris would be just in the middle.
Oh, okay. Here it is.
Like 1 minute 15 or something, 45.
Okay. You guys want to see what we got here?
Yes.
This is not the good edit, but it's just a one camera angle. But here, everybody wants to see it, so I'm going to show it. Share. Here we go. Here it comes. say his commitment to the lip sync is kind of impressive.
Oh, I love that.
That's crazy.
So I think the best
Remember,
part
actually
about
knew what she was doing. I liked
I
it.
think the best part about that is all of our camera guys, we all just started to hit record and everybody started filming, and then a couple of us busted out our iPhones to get different angles and stuff. So David, I have mine too. I'll send you. I think it'd be fun to edit a little bit of it together and just make a little.
Send me your video tonight, T, and I'll put it together.
I was shooting some B-roll somewhere, or some.
You were at the bar shooting B-roll.
So I missed it. I was like, "What just happened?"
And David, you were the one that like cut it off. You're like all of a sudden just like stop the music.
Yeah, the bar owner was starting to have some issues with us at that point. So I was like, we're not really shooting this, so stop and let's get back on task. So,
Chris just so bad. Chris is like, can I be a rock star for like a minute? Just a minute. Just a minute. We're like, all right, fine, go.
And you know, to be fair, Chris and Rich both were there very early and then had to they had to sit and wait to do their lines. So, you know, if you wanted to have some fun, that was fine with me. Mark, you have to take off.
I do.
We'll see you later.
Thank you, guys. It was a blast. I miss you guys.
Miss you, Mark.
You too.
Take care.
Till next time.
Later, brother. Real quick, Whitney, what was your best memory from the shoot?
I love doing the bar scene and all the rock concert because let's be honest, everybody kind of wants to be a rock star, and you probably know. Well, David knows this. My husband actually does play in a band, and I get a little jealous of getting to see him up there. So that was a nice little, I got to fake it because I can't play guitar very well.
Well, you can certainly pretend playing guitar very, very
I can pretend at a lot of things, David.
It's acting.
Oh no.
Heidi, what was your favorite memory?
I just think the overall experience was great. I liked shooting the B-roll stuff in Oceanside, and I liked shooting the bar scene because they were just totally different, like just so many people with the extras and everything, and like the huge big stage, big everything is what it felt like, and then to have like fresh open air and shoot the other stuff was like two very different feelings. But the bar scene definitely takes the cake, I think, just because like it's so exhilarating to be up there on the stage and in front of everybody and not like just in front of a camera. And I am not a musician for a reason. So it was exciting, but it was scary, but it was still a lot of fun. Well,
I remember you were a little timid when we first started lip syncing in front of the crowd. And it took a little bit, but I think our extras did a really good job of like acting like they were really into it too, right?
Yeah.
Did that help you kind of settle in?
Definitely. Yeah. Everyone played their part for sure. It wasn't like everyone was just staring at you, waiting for you to do your job. Like everyone was there having a good time. And that definitely helped the mood lighten up a little bit.
I do want to make sure we thank the extras from that day. That was Matt Abrams and his San Diego acting crew. They came out in good numbers very early in the morning, and they were incredibly committed to what they were doing as the extras. They kept coming up with ideas like, hey, we should have our cell phones out and we should be shooting them. And I was like, oh, why didn't I think of that? And we integrated those kinds of shots into the film and everything. So it was a great experience all the way around. So thanks to all the extras that came out and worked on this movie. You guys really helped sell the whole band scene. And you helped Heidi find her character.
Thank you.
So who's left? Brian.
You already asked me.
Yeah. Who have I missed?
I
Michael
think that was
Shane.
everyone. Teresa had to leave, but I think that was everyone. Michael Shane, yes, Michael Shane.
What was
That'd be tarantulas, right, Mike?
What was your favorite experience? What do you remember most?
Those are two different things. The favorite and what I remember most are completely separate things.
Well, I intentionally asked you two separate things because I know you've got two different answers.
I enjoyed the whole process. I mean, it was we took time in all of the different places we went. I think my fuzzy memory about shooting in Oceanside in the fog was just one of those weird, sort of just beautiful magic moments where we were just making shit up as we went along. And I think some of those shots are some of the most gorgeous in the movie, even though they're a little bit foggy. But I really enjoyed the day at the pet store, even though like I got there at 6 something, and like I know on the front glass they had they had stickers around it, and it was like there was a snake and there were spiders. I'm like, dude, there's spiders on the outside of the store. They have it stuck, and I don't know if it was David or whoever. You know, there's generally speaking, there's a lot of people to talk me down on any given set, and I was like, there's spiders on the window, dude. There's going to be spiders inside. Like, that's not going to be a big deal. And we went inside, and there were spiders inside. But like that day was kind of a fun day in that I think it really tested everybody's sort of endurance, and like it was a weird place to be in, that store. Like the dude that worked there was I thought we should make a movie about him because he was interesting.
Yeah, you kept saying you wanted to make a documentary about the pet store.
Yeah.
I remember on the shelf right behind the counter, a little bit overhead high, there was this tarantula carcass up there.
Oh, I know.
I didn't want to point that out, but you saw it.
I didn't know. It was a carcass. I just knew
it was a carcass. I think they molt. Do they molt? I think it was a.
Yeah, they molt.
So a tarantula had molted up on the top shelf, which has to tell you that there's a tarantula loose in the store.
No, not loose.
It's the only way it could have happened.
And the gigantic gar that they had in the
the little tiny gray mouse that the dude flicked back in is still a moment that I play over in my head over and over again. I was like, he made it, he survived. And he went, boop. I'm like, oh my God. Right back into the water. It was one of the most...
Shooting in the pet store was like, welcome to nature.
I was like, here's how the real world works. This is
right. Hey, Teresa, you're back.
No animals were harmed in the making of this film.
1 or 2.
Yes, I came back. I made
Well, in the making.
So, Teresa, what was your favorite memory of making this film?
Oh man, I've said a lot, but I would have to say this was our second co-directing, and I think what I liked about this one, David, is because we had so many more weeks and stuff. Not only that, we shot like multiple weekends in a row. What I liked is how much also during the week we spent a lot of time, you and I, sitting there and just really discussing and hashing out what we were doing for the weekend, and how we were going to do it and how we saw it. So that way you and I on set could both direct in whatever capacity we needed to do. And there wasn't a whole lot of, wait, let me talk it over with the other and stuff, just so that we could be prepared, because we knew we had to get through so much.
Mm-hmm.
So I enjoyed the process probably the most on this one, from beginning to end. The process was just great. And we did 8 days of shooting, but really we spent a lot of time working on this film.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we did.
It was probably our most full experience of making a film.
Yeah, this and Things Happen, I believe.
Yeah.
are our two most complete intellectual films. And Lefty would sit in that as well, but that was a co-production with others. My experience on this movie, I mentioned when we were doing the in situ review that was only the second time I had written characters in my films kissing each other. And there's a whole lot of weird things going on with characters in this movie. Heidi, you're flirting with the one guy at the bar, and then you're making out with Whitney, and Sam's got a flirt with Rich, and then there's the hotel scene, which, I don't know if you remember, Heidi, but I got very uncomfortable about the wardrobe thing that night.
Because you weren't wearing pants, right?
I was wearing pants. Heidi was not wearing pants. But like I remember turning to Heidi going, do you have something to wear? And she's like, oh, I can wear this. I'm like, yeah, script says you're supposed to be like ready for bed. I didn't know how to broach the subject at all. And I got to thank Heidi for being like totally game for whatever. She just like went, oh yeah, that's fine. She dropped her pants and sat on the bed, and I'm like, okay guys, let's shoot this. She's like, I don't know what the big deal is. Let's just get this done. I was like, okay. But I remember being very, very timid about how we approached all that stuff. And even when you and Whitney were making out, it was like, how much do I direct that? What are you guys comfortable doing? So, thank you both, Heidi, you and Whitney both, for making that a painless process for me. I hope it wasn't too uncomfortable for you.
Well, and we did it too to make Chris. Like I remember asking Chris to be shirtless.
Yep.
Too. We're like we need to be an equal all around.
Yeah.
Everybody is just up for grabs.
Everybody gets awkward scenes and go.
Everybody gets to be awkward, So
well, it's also like the paparazzi scene with her and in the hallway, and she rushes up to the camera. And so I'm like, I remember that was done at the bar. That was one of the extras that had come in, right? Isn't that situation?
Yes. Yeah.
So we're like, that was a B-roll thing. We're like, oh, the extras were really into it. And we're like, okay.
Yeah. I remember asking in the middle of shooting all that, I liked the hallway to the bathroom in the bar, and it was blue light lit and stuff. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to shoot a B-roll real quick. And I grabbed one of the extras and I'm like, hey, you want a little extra part, and I need you to stand here and flirt.
Yeah, the thing is too is all those shots go by so fast in the edit.
Yeah,
it's all multi-screen, so it's,
yeah,
all kinds of things going on. And
if you've watched the movie once, watch it again, but try and focus on different corners of the screen in the
you should watch it multiple times. It's available on Amazon Prime.
It is in fact available on Amazon Prime, so we appreciate your patronage.
Stream on Amazon Prime.
So anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining us today and going over the film with everybody. Thank you to our audience who asked a bunch of really great questions. Shout out to Lexi and John who are watching as we finish here. We love you guys. And I just want to say, I can't wait for quarantine to be over because I want to work with every one of you guys again. And that is such a wonderful place to be at, where everybody is somebody I want to work with again. So
can I add, this was awesome because this was the first time that in a while that all of IntelleXual worked together again. Like Brian would be gone on one for Forever My Love. Like there was pieces that we were all.
Yeah, I was missing on some. I wasn't there on some of them, and yeah.
This was the first time we actually got back all together and was able to work. Like we missed a couple things here and there, but for the most part, we had Diego back. It was, and we had, besides Whitney and Mark, everyone else was new that we had never worked with, and it was phenomenal.
Yeah, it was a fantastic experience across the board. All the actors blended right in with the people that we've worked with for a long time. All the new crew blended right in with everybody we've worked with for a long time. It was fantastic synergy
It
on
also
set.
had a lot to do with our having 2 months, 60 days to shoot. We were able to grab and coordinate a lot better than just say, hey, it's this weekend for these 2 days. Can you do it? Nope, sorry. Okay, bye.
Right. That's true. That is true. The 60 days, I really like it. If you are a San Diegan, actually, FilmCon is doing a quarantine film challenge right now. So wherever you are in the world, check out Film Consortium San Diego. They're running a quarantine film challenge in conjunction with Panasonic. So I believe there's a Panasonic camera package up for grabs for the winner of the quarantine films.
How long does that run?
I think the film has to be tuned in June something.
Yeah.
So you got some time. You got a little bit of time. So be sure to go check that out. And it's only supposed to be like a 2-minute movie. So, you know, any one of you can do that on your phone from home, you know, so knock it out of the park.
It's
Maybe
the
you'll end up with a
writing
nice camera
part.
package.
Yes.
The writing part.
We know writers, B. We know writers.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I
Now's the
just
time
wish-
to reach out. We can work remotely with one another. So
I wish I'd known about it while I was in my sickest.
right? I don't know why you didn't document you being so sick, Teresa.
Yeah, I was busy keeping him alive.
Yeah, but we needed the footage of him dying if he died.
Excuse me.
It's dark, Dave.
Praise the cameraman.
I know. Okay.
Stop shooting till they stop moving.
Bonnie
Well,
Crystal,
you know-
guys. Bonnie Crystal says this was a good film too. So thank you for checking it out, Bonnie. Peggy Warney sent a message to me. She wanted to remind me that tomorrow, this is important for all of you guys. Tomorrow is the last day to apply for artist relief. They've got $5,000 grants for artists facing financial emergencies right now. Go to artistrelief.org/apply.
Cool.
So check that out, artistrelief.org/apply, and do that tonight because tomorrow's the deadline, and maybe you can get a little bit of aid in this time of need. This was supposed to be the final IntelleXual University, but by popular
Season
demand,
1.
we're coming back for at least one more episode next week with Convolution. That's Teresa's film Convolution, when she gloriously stepped into the direct chair and directed
We're really gonna just talk about one thing. I mean, it's the only part anybody really wants to talk about.
We should take a 1-week break and start season 2.
You know, I was thinking about it for season 2. Like we could do Convolution, but I was thinking about we did all those spoofs.
Oh,
Yeah, we got the spoofs. We've got.
But we did
yeah,
2
we
years
gotta see-
worth. We did 2 years worth of spoofs. So we did Tomatoes and Bring It On and
all the Doctor Who stuff and
all the Doctor Who stuff.
Yeah, all that stuff. Do those. We still we could do Roswell. We could you know go. We could. There's someone we could still go back and have some fun.
Hey, Rich, would you come back and talk about doing Doctor Who spoof?
I would do that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Whitney?
Sam.
Sam goes, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
All right. Season 2 will be coming in a week.
or two. Well, we'll see.
The week after next, we'll start coming back with season 2. I will take next week off. We'll come back with season 2. We'll
do
discuss
Convolution.
We'll discuss exactly what we're going to do.
Everyone promote season 1.
Jen
while we
Allen
take a
says
break.
yes, all the spoofs, tomato emoji.
All right.
Oh, I gotta find some of those extra. Brian, we gotta find some of those extra tomato shots that we did.
I actually, in my search for
There's a good one of Mike and his car.
in my search for Chris doing his lip sync, I found the edit files for tomatoes.
Perfect.
So
So you got like the full edit, not just like the specifics.
Yeah, because we did a
Gotta show
whole
it
lot
off.
of B-roll with the tomato chasing people and stuff.
okay.
Some really good stuff.
So more IntelleXual University coming your way at a date to be determined in the future. I will let everybody know soon. in the meantime, thank you guys all so much for joining me today. Thank you online for joining us and watching. We hope you've been learning something in the midst of quarantine.
Go back and watch previous episodes.
Yeah, it's really important that you take this time to enjoy yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself right now. You know, we're dealing with a global pandemic as well as wanting to do things. So it's okay to take a day.
Or a week.
Or a week, whatever is necessary to process all this. So my love to all you guys, my love to our audience who's been watching. Until sometime next weekish, monthish, this has been the first season, apparently, of IntelleXual University. We'll be coming back very soon with more. Guys, thank you so much. Have a great night.
Hey,
Hi, David.
Thank you.
Bye,
everybody.
everybody.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Nice to see
Bye.
everybody again.